Hi friends, welcome to another video and episode of the James Red Podcast. Today I want to talk about being productive towards the right thing versus being productive towards another right thing that keeps you from being productive towards the right thing. And I promise I'll break that down as I go. I came across a video from one of my favorite YouTube creators. His name is Fun for Louie. Maybe you've heard of him. He's a travel vlogger. He's like 7 feet tall. He has dreads. He's probably been doing the travel vlog thing for longer than anybody else at this point. And he said something in one of his videos that spoke to something that I've experienced in my own life, but he articulated it in an interesting way. He said that sometimes we can find ourselves on the wrong treadmills. In other words, sometimes we can find ourselves dedicating time to something and neglecting another, basically put. And so let me break this down in a practical way by using my own experience. I grew up as a wee lad in Poland where I had one shoe that I had to put both feet in to survive. And one day I was walking up the hill to the well, and that shoe broke. And I said, oh, wow, I really don't know what's left for me. And then I said to myself, I'm going to move to America. And then begins my normal childhood. When I was growing up, I focused a lot of time towards towards building my creative side. And by doing that, naturally, I neglected building my ability to create opportunity for myself, be resourceful towards money, creating income for myself, maybe being entrepreneurial, I'm sure other things. But there were things that I neglected. Not from being negligent in a really negative sense. Like I'm trying to create the differentiation between it being something that was fundamentally a bad thing and something that was just I focused in another area and neglected another area, right? I find myself wishing that I would have spent more time specifically building my ability to generate income for myself and not and being disciplined towards the things that actually help me create opportunity for myself as opposed to pursuing my creative ventures. But the good side of this is that now I'm very, very comfortable in very dynamic and sometimes rather intense creative situations, specifically when they involve a camera or a pair of drumsticks in my hand. I am more comfortable on stage behind a drum set in a live musical setting than I am speaking to a bank teller. And that's because I've spent an enormous amount of time developing that, becoming well-rounded in that. But sometimes we can find ourselves on the wrong treadmill. Sometimes we can find ourselves really neglecting things that are extremely important. For me, I feel like I'm often managing 11 different treadmills at once in life, in my adulthood. I'm curious if you guys feel this way too. What I want to be able to generate in my life, what I think is a good strategy, is to create harmony between all of the things that I need to be tending to. The reason I love the word harmony, and the reason why is because it has this organic quality to it. It's an organic balancing of life plates that is different for everybody. And if you're not intentional towards that harmony, you can end up dedicating a lot of time towards the thing that you're very naturally obsessed with. And this is good for developing that thing, but perhaps not the best strategy for life as a whole. But it's different for everybody. I think obsession is an incredible tool for generating mastery of anything. But what's an interesting problem for me is, what do you do when you don't naturally have an obsession for something? When you don't naturally have an obsession towards building income for yourself, or reach or connecting, collaborating with people, sending out emails, doing the opportunity building things. And there's a difference between sharing a creative thing on a platform and having a strategy for growing yourself. These are two different treadmills that you have to run on simultaneously. And I think we get them confused sometimes. I think they like to overlap each other in our heads, or we get stuck in one and think that's contributing to the other. And while it may be contributing in a trickle, we want to contribute in a waterfall, because that's how you're going to actually create significant growth in that area. But if you're trying to, if the goal is to generate more obsession towards a thing that you want to develop in your life that you don't naturally have obsession for, I think that the best strategy for that is to create structure in order to generate obsession. To create plans and to-do lists and notes and write. Generate momentum towards that thing you're not so obsessed with, and you become more passionate about things when you spend more time doing that thing. So you have to create a plan to get yourself passionate about that thing, and that will be the fuel, that will be the jet fuel that allows you to dedicate the proper amount of time to that treadmill, which is so important for helping you achieve your goals. And this could be, obviously we have a specific set of goals as creators on the internet and what have you, but this could also mean setting goals towards your relationship, setting goals towards taking care of your house, cleaning your room, creating structure for your daily habits, brushing your teeth, all of these things that are part of the harmony, the balance that you should pursue in your life, or it's a good strategy to pursue in your life. You could end up like, I suppose you can end up like a 16th century painter who had a wife, but he never really spent time with the wife because he loved his paintings and he was wildly introverted, and so she'll write her autobiography later on in her life and say, we never spoke as a horrible marriage. If you want that, you can pursue that. I really like my marriage. I think my relationship with my wife is just as important as my relationship with my art. I think my relationship with my art is just as important as my relationship with my ability to generate income for myself. What this obsession can create is excitement towards something. And this is the essence of the fuel, is excitement. And excitement equals action. When you get your emotions involved, that's when you do things. This extends to a therapeutic setting. If you're dealing with some horrible childhood issues and you need to generate action to get your brain fixed from everything you've gone through, they go after your emotions in order to help you make progress, help you break out. The emotion is an incredibly powerful force to generate momentum and action in your life. So create structure to be obsessed and become emotional about the thing that you want to start to win at. And I think that it's important to understand that you start a timeline when you begin to pursue a craft towards mastery of that craft. And it's so easy to reach a place later on in your life where you realize, I did not dedicate the time that I wanted to dedicate to that thing. And you don't really realize it until you get there, because it wasn't a priority at that point in time, but it should have been, so that when you get to this place, you're not so negligent, or you're not so lacking in that area. So it's important to not waste time. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.